Okay, so what does this facial fucking slimy cunt-sucking wanker pussy, whatever the fuck you want to call this maggot motherfucking bengahba, okay, he calls this...
Ibn Shamota, okay.
Ibn Sharmut, wallah azim Ibn Sharmuta. No offense to the Indians, they literally bring the meaning of a bad meaning towards these Indians, okay?
Okay.
So he calls this Naz. I'm so glad that my Akashi is back, okay?
His face expression.
Listen.
Those Indians.
He calls... Akash, I don't... as God is my witness, I don't look at Akash as an Indian.
Okay, that's good.
I seriously don't. I think of him as just like one of us.
Yeah.
Okay, I love his because his personality is so fucking wicked. I love it. So anyway, he calls this Naz. He calls this Naz and he says to her, what are you doing having this white woman Australian promote your company? This is the woman that called you a prostitute. And I'm like, I didn't call her a prostitute. I said that the people that go and put themselves in the limelight with these wannabes like Faisal and Bilal and these two-bob scamming gimmicks of events like the awards night and the Achievers Award bullshit. I said, you're prostituting yourself for a couple of clicks.
Wasn't that
in an asexual way. But then she hits me and says, no, with the Indians, you can never use the word prostitute because it's such a big insult to us. It's the worst word you could ever use.
I don't know.
Akash, is that correct?
I'm not Indian.
He converted racially.
We're going to make you Aussie.
He became Michael Jackson. He's gotten whiter.
we need to make Akash an Aussie or an American or a Brit or something.
He's desperate to change passports. You better believe he's
but
desperate.
This is the kind of person that actually deserves to change nationality.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do.
I would much prefer that. I would much prefer that Akash call himself an Australian rather than your wannabe Hussein.
What is up with Hussein? Why does he call himself an Australian? Why
because
do you
he
call
has the
yourself
Australian passport. But being an Australian is not about the passport. It's about Australia being in your heart. No, seriously.
What of a statement is that?
Okay.
But you're from Lebanon.
I don't know the country.
Okay.
I only know Australia. In my eyes and in my heart, every other country is shit.
Okay.
Okay. I am so racist in not a bad way, but not a good way. I can't explain my racism. Okay. But it's like
nationalism is what's called.
It is. I'm so patriotic to the point that if Australia and Lebanon went to war, I'd be on the forefront of the Australian army.
So you were raised in Australia?
All my fucking life.
I've never been to Australia, nor do I want to go to Australia.
Don't say that until I invite you and then you check the country out and you see it for yourself.
They've got too many animals there. Everything there...
Hang on a minute. You're talking about a country. When you talk about the animals, you're talking about the country. We come from a city.
But everything...
You don't see this shit in the city.
Everything there is every animal there is worse. Every spider there is bigger than the other.
Just because we've got some of the deadliest animals in the world.
That's what I'm saying. You've got like sharks, you got spiders, you got snakes. That's not necessary. It's
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
but hang on, don't knock it. Okay, I'll invite you across to the city, and you'll see that the media actually fills your head with that shit. Now we've got some of the best. I think 3 of the 7 wonders of the world.
It was so great that the UK decided to turn it into a colony for prisoners. That's how great it was.
And then we turned it into a country better than the Brits.
I mean, I don't know.
Do you actually know how many Brits come into Australia or try to migrate into Australia?
Yeah, because the UK at the moment is a piece of shit.
We got the better country out of all the Commonwealth, and even the Brits will tell you that. We literally got the better country. And
you didn't get a country. We
are a country and we are an island.
Aren't you guys a continent? Answer is yes.
Yes. There you go. We're a continent.
I love that. That was like such a brutal yes, like you're an idiot. It didn't need any other information.
In all fairness, I was hesitant to actually answer that question because just recently that whole district has changed and called itself the Pacific. Okay, or it's now called Australasia. Okay, so and Australasia includes Malaysia, it includes Papua New Guinea, it includes New Zealand. So it's almost as if like the demographic name of it has changed. It's now called Australasia. Recently you had, I think he's Indian, I'm not sure. I can't tell the difference between this part of the world.
Okay.
They all look the same to me.
Okay.
Yes. No, I'm not racist. I'm just not very good with nationalities. Okay. He was sitting here saying that he stated on your podcast that these bloggers literally beg.
He's Bahraini.
I rest my case. I mean, now with Bahrain, you can't even tell that they're Bahrainis anymore.
MKJ Skin. He's a good guy.
Okay,
He's a good guy.
And I loved his conversation with you guys. I really, really did. But he hit the nail right on the head. Okay? They're literally begging for content, and especially to be seen in certain places. To the point that they're buying followers just to make themselves look good, to be able to get into these places. Now you've got people pretending to be agents.
Okay.
Now, according to the laws of the land, if you're acting as an agent, you should be licensed and registered.
So with the CR and all that kind of stuff, okay?
Correct. Okay? So this agent has actually been taking money to provide influencers or bloggers, whatever the hell you want to call them, in these places. The bloggers are not getting paid. They're going there just for the sake of an invite because they get to create content, okay? But they're not getting paid for it. So the agent, the person that's claiming to be an agent, is collecting the money.
And then keeping it in his pocket.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's how agencies have worked in Bahrain.
But hang on. If you don't have a CR and you're collecting money, first, that's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, it's causing conflict amongst all the bloggers, especially when they find out that they attended places that they should have actually been paid for.
Well,
so why are they not protected?
Well, one of the popular schemes that were happening here in Bahrain was if you have a CR and I have a CR, you go to Temkeen and say, I want to spend X amount of money for marketing, right? Temkeen goes, okay. You then hire me. You give me the money. I do some very basic stuff, low value things. I give you an invoice that's very high. You pay me the money that is either half, and then I give you the other half in your hand, right? And so we both are smiling, and Temkeen is the one that's lost.
Rules and regulations are there for the protection of consumers.
Okay.
Okay? Businesses, you name it.
I'm more Milton Freeman. Free markets.
Yeah,
Let the market decide.
You literally make it difficult to get the point across because what you're saying makes sense. But there's a flip side to the coin, Hamid.
Okay.
Okay?
What is it? How's that saying go? It's not the fault of the duper, it's the dupee that's at fault. Right?
Yes.
I mean, if you don't do your due diligence.
I'm not blaming. Actually, the bloggers, if you actually meet them, they're quite nice. They're quite nice.
So would you say that if somebody, a blogger, let's choose anyone, has lots of fake followers and then advertises to that company.
That's deceiving.
Do you think that's operating in bad faith?
Yes, and it's deception. I've learned so much of this technical bullshit. Like these bloggers, these Bahrain bloggers, just a couple of days ago, they tried to take credit for trying to teach me everything that I know about blogging.
Okay.
I mean, for the love of fucking God. I mean, shit.
Okay.
While they were probably trying to make ends meet, I was running my own radio station and doing outside broadcasts.
This radio station was in Bahrain?
No.
This was still in
a
Australia?
more prominent country, thank you very much.
Okay. But you just said fuck Australia, so on...
No, I meant that. Do not take my English out of context. Do not take it out of context.
I'm just quote mining.
Okay. Do not... I love my country.
Picking. Explain to me now, we're getting off topic. Why is this boycott happening?
Because of these bloggers.
Because of these bloggers, you're boycotting who? Bloggers, or are you boycotting the businesses that work with them?
Okay. Boycotting the businesses.
Okay.
Okay, for example, this manager that I'm referring, this person that controls like the Bahrain bloggers.
Okay.
Imagine he works for a pissy 650 BD a month salary and makes himself out to be this big shot.
Okay. Sounds like very much like Bahrain. Okay.
It sounds like almost everybody in Bahrain, doesn't it?
This This sounds oddly familiar. Go on.
Be who you are.
Okay. So
Say
don't
what you
move
mean.
above your station is what you're saying.
He's not above my station. I surpass him by far. He's a little worm.
Okay, so your problem is what? That he goes to these bloggers being like, listen,
Actually, this
sign with me.
particular hotel that I was communicating with, okay, they were so friggin' shocked to find out that he worked for this fast food company for 650 BD a month. They were contacting him and using him because he portrayed the image of this superstar PR guru.
Entrepreneur, what can you say?
But there's a thing called fraud, Hamid.
I mean, I don't
There's
know.
a thing called fraud.
I don't know. You know, you gotta admit the hustle, right?
Now you're starting to sound like Hosseini. Akash, where are you? Akash, we've got ourselves another Hosseini. There is nothing wrong with the hustle. Okay, life is a fucking hustle.
Yeah, but when you go to presenting in a meeting, right? You can't be like, yo, listen, this is who I am.
Life is a hustle. Life is a hustle. But don't lie.
But do you not.
You know, one of the things I love about Unsolved Truths and the thing I love about you so much is that what you see
is what you get.
Is what you fucking get.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but thank you.
It actually is a compliment.
Thank you.
It really is a compliment in a very bad way.
Yeah.
It is a compliment.
It feels like a backhanded compliment. Yeah.
It really is a compliment. Okay. Anybody who is game enough to come and sit in this chair with Unsolved Truths, you got to be prepared to get the other side of the coin from Hamid.
Oh, I mean, I don't sell it that way. Otherwise, I would have nobody on the show.
You don't sell it that way, but you know, you touch on discussions that very few people are game enough to
say anything about.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it's real, and that's something that is so rare these days. Okay, you're on this social media platform or the internet platform, which is the hype. It is what it is in this millennium, in this day and age, okay? But it's real. Okay, my problem is that if this employer is prepared to continue employing this unethical, immoral person, then they deserve to be exposed as well.
But do you not feel like
Well, there's a list of women prepared who have got voice messages, WhatsApp messages from him. Okay, listen. If I came to you and I said to you, Hamid, Akash has taken money from me. I mentioned Akash's name. I love Akash because Akash can handle me.
He's not here, is he here? Oh, so we can talk shit about him.
No, I would never talk shit about Akash. I love Akash.
And we call him actually...
Akash actually gets my respect for Dan is a completely different type of respect for Akash.
Well, Akash's name is Gay Cash and Dan is the man, right?
No, because Dan is the mature. Dan is the type of person that I would have a mature conversation with. Akash is the kind of person I would love to sit there and get drunk and talk trash with. I love the way how he trashes.
Husseini, sorry, yeah.
Okay, Dan he's very diplomatic when he talks. He's very polite. We have
very different experiences with
Dan. Okay, Akash, you get him on the phone. I still love that podcast, what you posted. I watch it over and over and over again, and he's like, no, it's fucking Husseini. I love it. I mean, that's not something that Dan would do. They're completely different personalities. But say, for example, I know Akash can handle this. Dan would never love a story like this to be connected to his name. But I came to you and I said, Hamid, Akash
touched
Kira. And he's taken money from me and under false pretenses, and these are the pretenses. Would you not question your who you've employed?
You're putting me into a difficult moral.
No, because this is what it is.
equation.
We actually sat and had coffee with the employer. We presented them with evidence. Hardcore, irrefutable evidence, and they did nothing with it.
If an employee affects the standing of the brand, then that employee has to either resign or be terminated. That's the options when it
Okay,
comes to the
if I
to the
presented
company.
you with irrefutable evidence that this happened that Akash did this, could your conscience allow you to keep him on?
Could as long as it wouldn't affect the company, I would find it very difficult in morally letting someone go, because what they do in their personal life is something very different as what they're doing in their work situation. I'm literally trying to think like as moralistic and
But that's not moralistic. If you are being presented with irrefutable evidence that your employer is going around taking employee is going around taking money under false pretenses, and I mean like in the thousands, okay, and he is conducting himself in a manner that the law perceives to be wrong, illegal, jailable, okay? Are you telling me that you do not fear that his behavior could actually reflect on your
That's what
name?
I just said if
and you would keep him on irrespective.
I said if what he has conducted would affect the brand as a whole, then yes, he has to be terminated.
Well, this
a firm
major
perspective.
food chain, okay, if I lined up all 8 victims, okay, and we presented online the irrefutable evidence of voice recordings, voice messages, WhatsApp messages, benefit pays and shit like that, and we hashtagged their name, we mentioned them, you're telling me that it would not do any damage to their name?
It's not about it.
I mean, we only learned.
That's not what I'm discussing here. What I'm trying to reflect on is that I try to compartmentalize personal versus corporate, right? When you're at work, you're this person, and when you're outside of work, you're this person. I would never blame an employee for taking drugs, doing stuff outside of work hours. If they're coming in, they're sober and they're rational and they're at their, we paid you for your hours. And if you're here for your hours and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing at the best way you're supposed to be doing, then alhamdulillah. If you're not, then we have an issue, right? And that's as clear cut as I would look at these subjects.
We will expose him, and we will expose. The set date is the 16th. Because the 16th, we will go to the police station and we will formally record our complaints and our evidence. And we will also submit you with the final piece of evidence, which is the little piece of paper that you get given with the case numbers.
I mean, why did you even go to the employer? Why didn't you just go straight to the police?
Because we wanted to try to keep it low key, and
Is that keeping it low key by going to the employer?
Well, we thought that maybe the employer, I wasn't so much worried about my money, but there are people with families, children's, it's their life savings.
And so what's your expectation on the employer, that he would cover
garnish the salary, or at least...
He can't do that legally.
Hang on. You could enter into some sort of arrangement and speak to the employee and do something, okay?
Sorry, who's his employer? Is he like Sheikh?
No, I said a big food chain.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, if Dan did I don't know, let's say Akashi or whatever hits your car, right? And then you come to me and be like, listen, Akashi hit my car, I want money, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise I'll go to the police. I cannot
Actually,
say
we weren't hoping for money. We were not hoping for money. We were hoping that they would kick him. They would actually cancel his visa and kick him off the island.
I mean, that's even more wilder. I mean,
actually,
from a person who speaks some ethics,
we will get that.
But do you not think that's an underhanded method?
We will get it. We will get it.
That's alhamdulillah. I'm all happy for you to get it. What I'm saying is that from a person who just talked about ethics and morality, you're circumventing the system of law.
No, actually, I'm going to do it by law.
That's what I'm saying. You're circumventing the system by law by saying I'm going to go to the employer and hoping that he would kick him out of the island.
Actually,
or do
because
whatever.
the employer had an issue, and they disclosed this information to us, where 2 kitchen staff had gotten into a physical punch-up. The sponsor, the employer, didn't waste time. Within 72 hours, these people were deported. Okay, so you can deport kitchen staff, okay, for fighting inside the kitchen.
No?
But you will not You will not cancel a visa and deport an employee that has sexually harassed and taken money wrongfully under false pretenses.
But again, this is an employer. He's not a governing state or a body. What happens?
But hang on, you just missed the point. He did that for 2 kitchen staff.
But you're missing a point right here. You're prefacing the statement here in that those 2 kitchen staff people were inside the fucking office, and it's inside the business. This is a card on premise.
Hang on a minute. You're wrong. If you're talking about inside the business, the first transaction that took place between myself and this pathetic wannabe PR guru of Bahrain or the Middle East, whatever he wants to call himself, okay, took place inside one of their cafes. He met us there, had coffee, and sold the concept of publishing Kira. Then he tried to tell me he needed 1,600 BD. When I told him that it was impossible, I needed to get approval from Australia first of what he's offering, and they would need to pay for it. He says, let me do 3 articles, and I'll only charge you 365 BD. Articles were never done, okay? And I thought 365 BD, okay,
That's
nothing.
crazy.
Nothing.
That's a lot of money, 300 BD for 3 articles.
365.
It's 100 BD an article.
300, well, no problems, just a little bit over 100 BD.
Yeah.
Okay, 120 something BD an article. Okay, and I thought I wanted to test the water. I paid him the 365 BD, sent it by benefit. Now, this transaction was conducted in their premise.
Okay.
In their premise. That same day, I went outside to have a cigarette and take a phone call that had to be, couldn't be had in front of the people that were inside the cafe, restaurant, whatever you want to call the place. And while I was outside having a cigarette, I left my daughter in there. I thought she's safe. There's people everywhere. Nothing can happen. And cameras. He moves his chair forward, closer to her, and he says to her, you and I need to meet outside alone without your mother knowing.
That's creepy as fuck.
Thank you. Now, I'm only just finding out about this. Okay? Now, poor Kira goes through a phase where she's so confused about everything that's happened, and she's like, it's like a bad dream. Am I imagining this? A 16-year-old cannot imagine this, okay? You might have imagined the first, you could say, okay, did I imagine it? Maybe I'm hallucinating. But the second attempt, the third attempt.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? It's not once that it happened. It's not. So all this happened inside their premise.
Okay.
So I could, if I take this to the police, it becomes their issue because it happened during his working hours.
And that's what I would have
And
done.
on their premise. Correct.
But didn't we have this discussion a couple of weeks ago when you said he went to Dubai? And then
And came back.
I told you that if he's gone to Dubai, even if he's coming back, he's leaving. He's leaving.
For medical reasons, he's in India.
I mean, do you know he's ever going to come back?
I don't know.
So I think there you go. No, I mean
I don't know.
I mean, if I was in his situation, which I hope to God I will never be in, he would just disappear. No, that's it.
You think that he could have ran away out of the country?
That's what I would do if I was in his shoes. Would you have done anything different if you knew the wolves are on in front of the door?
So one of the people that's owed money to by him, okay, contacted him yesterday, and he says, I'll give you back the money on the 15th. So obviously he's expecting some sort of money. Now, mind you, this guy got paid money to be present at the awards night.
Okay.
Okay. And we believe he's been paid money for the TikTok Achievers.
Okay.
And he was paid this money under the table just to have all the bloggers present to make the 2 events look good. Okay, so
why doesn't he just take a SIM card out of his phone or throw the phone in the river and then walks away?
If you call his Bahraini mobile,
Yeah.
it's disconnected.
So there's your answer then.
Okay, and then you get 3 different voices. You get the English, you get the Arabic, and then you get the Indian. Mughlat.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. It's not any Arabic I know.
We should call the number.
But I mean, so the problem with the issue
So
has
he's
resolved
not
itself.
here. He's not here.
But he's never going to come back.
You think he won't come back?
Not if
I
he
hope
has any
does,
sense.
Because I'd like to have him arrested at the airport.
Well, then you have to file a police report.
And you know what pisses me off is that these people, most of these people have got Bahraini passports.
Yeah.
Okay, not very Bahraini-like. Can you please tell me what benefit any one of these, apart from Helena and the magazine and what have you, I'm so supportive of that, and I actually think Hina is a wonderful woman. It's actually not difficult to reach a royal. I mean, out of all the GCC, the Bahrain royals are the most accessible people when it comes to citizens and issues. Did you know that His Majesty has a majlis once a week that you can go and attend and speak to him for a few minutes? You know, one-on-one. So does the Crown Prince. Okay, Sheikh Khalid is actually, he is one of the nicest people you could ever come across. He loves to help. Sheikh Abdullah, oh my God. Now, Sheikh Abdullah is from another world. Sheikh Abdullah is so unique. His whole entire personality, there is nothing regal about Sheikh Abdullah. He's very humble. Very, very humble and very well educated.
I agree.
You met him?
I agree. I believe that what Bahrain is doing, especially from the
They're
governance side,
they're not MBS.
It's great.
So, you know, to think that
I did that for you as a snippet, so you can use it and internally do
right.
stuff with it. There you go. You did ass kissing for the last
I'm
1
not ass
minute.
kissing. I'm actually legit.
You're right. They're very great people. I totally agree.
You're a bastard. Seriously, okay.
I did that for you.
I know how great they are. My daughter's heart is fixed because of them. In a hospital that unless you've got top-notch private health coverage, you can't get into unless you're military.
Oh, BDF.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kira had a big hole in her heart. Immediately, they got her into hospital and they gave the best surgeon, local and international surgeon that they brought in, and they fixed her heart.
That was the hospital that removed my tumor.
You know,
What? It's
I
a
have
small
a lot
world.
of issues with Bahrain, but I have a lot of praise for Bahrain. And MBS is not accessible. The King of Bahrain is.
Well, yeah. I mean,
MBS is doing a good job for Saudi, but the King of Bahrain is so accessible. You just need to figure out how to do it.
yeah, but the difference is a multiple of 30.
I get what you're saying.
It's not that easy. I mean,
I don't have the experience of I can only talk about my experience. So if you're saying Mansour because he's connected to Sheikh Khalid because of Brave, good on him. But there are a lot more other people that can access Sheikh Khalid. And there are ways of accessing. Sheikh Khalid literally makes himself available to help the citizens of Bahrain. Okay? And if you ask enough questions and do enough research, you actually find that each and every one of the major royals are accessible.
I agree with you.
And Sheikh Abdullah, I mean, I sent an email to Sheikh Abdullah about my sister-in-law with her cancer. Imagine within hours and days, okay, they had it all tied up and they said, just choose which hospital in the world and we will send her for a cancer treatment.
And so now that you're looking back
She's
on
passed
it,
away, God rest her soul. But, you know,
My
this
condolences.
is how if you know how to contact one of these royals and they know that one of their citizens are in trouble, they will move heaven and earth to help them.
so why do you want to leave Bahrain then?
Because of my love for Australia.